And that's all we have on the global market action. But how will all of these overnight cues impact our own markets? Our research team is joining in with the trade setup, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and of course, the setup on the F&O side of things as well. Let me first tell you how the session that was on Friday and the week that went by for the markets. It was a positive week, but a choppy session on Friday. It was a lot of up and down that happened pre-policy, post-policy as well. At the start of the governor's speech, the Nifty fell to the lowest point of the day because there was an assumption that the governor did not speak about the CRR cut along with the other interest rate decisions. But once the CRR cut was announced of 50 basis points, the Nifty recovered all the losses. But then after that, it did not do precious. It did precious little because there was a cut to the GDP forecast. There was an increase in the inflation forecast as well. So that kept a lid on any further potential upside. And of course, the fact that the Nifty has risen almost 600 points in the last 5 trading sessions, that too kept a lid on any potential gains. But it was a good week for the markets because both the sensex and the Nifty were up over 2% each. Now, the broader markets also did well. There is plenty of stock-specific action that happened last week that is likely to take place today as well. Vamakshi will join in with that in just a bit. But in terms of key levels to track, of course, throughout last week, Nifty managed to hold on to that 24,000 level on the downside, and that is a key positive as well for the index. The first line of defense for now is Friday's low, which is 24,620. And on the upside, of course, 24,750, which was Friday's high, and the last week's high, which was well above 24,850. Those two become the key levels to track on the upside for the Nifty to move towards that 25,000 mark, which it hasn't done so in quite a bit now. And the Nifty Bank, that was a key contributor. The banks moved higher, recovered from the lows of the day, but again cooled off from the highs towards closing. The Nifty Bank was down almost 350 points from the highs of the day. The US market handover, there is nothing to worry about. We just spoke about that. But key events to track right now, there's a lot of inflation data that is coming in both from India and the US. What does the Fed do after that inflation print that comes in? Multiple IPOs. There are 2 IPOs that are opening on Wednesday. There are some price bands that are being announced as we speak as well. The Vodafone Idea board meet is today for the fundraising proposals, block deals, QIPs. So it's a lot of action that is in the market that we have for this upcoming week. Volumes, of course, likely to remain low as we count down to the end of the year. But that's how the markets are set up at the start of the new week. Over to Vamakshi now, who would list out the stocks that you need to watch out for. Vamakshi, good morning. What's on your list?
Well, good morning, Hormaz. It's a long list. Let me first start off with Godrej Consumer. It's a mid-quarter update coming in from the company. They've said that flat volumes and mid-single-digit sales growth is what they're expecting. Demand conditions were subdued and they're expecting sharp decline in the margins. Paytm has issued a clarification on a report which said that Paytm is likely to sell stake in Japan's PayPay to SoftBank for $250 million. The company said that board of the company's arm 197 Communications Singapore has approved the sale of stock acquisition rights in PayPay Corporation. Delta Corp is the next one that we will be watching out for, and that is because they've revised the deal. They've revived the deal between the company and Dentlin Hotel and Resorts. Hospitality and real estate businesses will be demerged into a separate entity, that is Delta Penland, and after the demerger, Delta Penland will issue 1 share for every 1 share held to its shareholders. JSW Energy's arm JSW Neo Energy has received an LOA from NTPC for setting up a nearly 400 megawatt solar power project. India Cements has commented on CCI's notice on Ultratech cement deal. They say that they are in process of furnishing response to CCI in this regard, and they believe that they will be able to satisfy the concerns the CCI may have, as the cement market is extremely competitive. CEAT will be looking to acquire Camso brand of highway tires and tracks business from Michelin for $225 million. NLC India has been declared as a successful bidder by the Ministry of Coal for new Patrapara South coal mine in Odisha. And lastly, keep an eye out on Bajaj Healthcare, and that is because Vadodara-based API manufacturing site has received an approval from Therapeutic Goods Administration, Australia.
A long list always, right, when you come back from a weekend. Vamakshi, thanks a lot for that. And finally, Sudarshan joins in with cues from the F&O space. Sudarshan, good morning. It was a good week for the markets. How's the setup looking like on the F&O side of things?
Morning, friends. So on the data front, we continue to have more positives than negatives. But talking first about the Friday session, after huge volatility, after RBI's action, that RBI maintained status quo on the repo rate, but cut CRR by 50 basis points. We saw a sharp cut in financial names. That led to Nifty Bank falling almost 300 points from day's high. And that led to Sensex, Nifty and Nifty Bank closing in the red, while mid-cap index closed with minor gains. For today also, GIFT Nifty is indicating a start with minor cuts. Talking about the flows, FIs have have sold while DIs have bought, and DIs buy figure was largely, FI's sell figure was largely offset by DIs buy figure. FI sold 1,830 crore, DIs bought 1,660 crore in the cash market on Friday. In the future market, though, FIs continue to keep buying, and they have bought more than rupees 540 crore on Friday, and they have added long positions, and they have added contracts of more than 2,600, and at the same time, they have reduced short positions and cut the contracts by 3,300. With this, FI's long exposure now stands at 45%, and on the client side, long exposure now stands around 60%. On the options front, 25,000 call has seen addition of 42 lakh shares and premium is 65. And on the put side, 24,300 put has seen addition of 15 lakh shares and premium is 54. With these important levels for Nifty, support is now seen around 24,550 and resistance is around 24,750. Two stocks that have entered into F&O ban on RBL Bank and PVR Inox. And apart from these stocks, keep an eye on FMCG stocks after the quarterly update given by Godrej Consumer.
Indeed, you'll have to keep an eye out on these FMCG names. Darshan, thanks a lot for that. Time for a